So this is a semi-boneless. This is a half
So it's-
half mast.
Yeah.
This is a soft. This is a semi.
Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved about 2 years ago and see if they still hold up. I'm Dan,
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
and for this episode, we're watching The Dead Don't Die.
I didn't sign up for this.
So I love this film.
Yeah,
I
it's
want
fucking
to come
great.
into it.
There we go, the
I
end.
love this film.
And I've been Helena.
No, I fully understand why it's bad.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I still need to tell you.
No,
why it's
you're
bad.
welcome to tell me. You might come up with a way that it's bad that I didn't think of.
So I actually have to apologise in advance. I
Yep.
came into this with gloomy specs, as my therapist would call them. Jim had already told me, and I think I quote, "Why the fuck are you watching that? It's dog shit."
No, it is.
Or
he's right.
garbage. I can't remember, how.
Yeah,
But it wasn't a
yeah.
positive.
Either way, he's right.
And I was also confused because this is not a film we watched when we were younger.
No.
No, it's a,
None of us were young
no,
when
it's a
this
sort
came
of,
out.
it's a boneless episode, sort of.
So I just wanted to.
It's Halloween
sort of
themed. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like I want to ambush you with this because
It's. I mean, it technically falls under the Halloween. I mean, this is
This is
to
Halloween.
go back to a
Guys,
previous
guys,
conversation.
I just
This
wanted to
is
talk about this.
To Halloween as Die Hard is to Christmas.
I just want to talk about
I
this.
feel like
movie.
it's not
I
a horror
just-
movie. It's It's not a horror
just
zombie
had
movie. It's
to-
just a movie with zombies.
I had to find
Yeah.
some way to talk about this
But it-
movie with you, and I made
Don't like it.
we made a podcast so I could talk about this movie.
This is the
My
only
end
reason.
goal was to talk about this movie because I feel like this movie needs to be
Shall
talked
we
about.
start at the beginning?
Oh, we can try. I don't think we can, but we
Right.
can
I
try.
can't.
So,
Um,
Adam Driver and Bill Murray are both police officers, except
Okay.
Adam isn't the driver. Bill Murray drives the car most of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
time.
Bill Murray and Kylo Ren.
Yes.
Yes, Bill
Literally
Murray
the
and
only other
Kylo
thing
Ren.
I've seen him in, I think.
Yep.
Yep. And
There's that film where he shouts at his wife, but like, I can't remember what that's called.
Don't know. There's a meme from it. There's so it starts with them and they're like just driving around. They're like, it's really weird. It's not getting dark outside.
No,
And I'm
no,
like,
that's it.
How spooky!
Yeah.
Light.
Yes.
I'm gripped with fear immediately.
and you know
Yeah.
they're driving around. The radio keeps cutting out for the important bits of the background plot, which is that they have been fracking the polar ice caps, and so the poles have shifted and the Earth's fucked.
Yeah, the Earth is
Yeah.
tilted slightly.
Nothing
thus
since
it is fun.
2019 like fracking being the top issue.
Yeah. And then, you know,
Yeah.
they're driving around and The Dead Don't Die by Sturgill Simpson comes on and they're like, cool, what's this song? And they're like, well, it's the theme song.
Yeah.
Just
And
the
at
most
that point-
deadpan. The most
Yeah.
deadpan delivery of everything.
Well, the whole film is delivered in that stilted, I'm an actor who is deliberately acting, aren't I good at acting
That's
way.
the
That just
point.
made me want to sock them in the face.
It's just so...
Do your
Well,
fucking job.
It's
the
just so
whole point, though.
deadpan. The character's just like... Just so passive to everything.
I'll explain.
Well,
the-
it's the theme song. Yeah, fuck you.
Oh, I
it,
can't
that's
wait
the
to get to the
reaction.
bit that's my favourite joke in the movie.
Yeah.
There were
Oh,
jokes
yeah.
in this movie?
Yeah,
There
some-
was one bit that gets me. Like
no,
I've seen this
there
like
are no-
twice now.
There aren't jokes. There are concepts that are
Yeah.
that allude to jokes. This whole film is about concepts that allude to things and not actual things.
It certainly is about concepts and not payoff,
Yeah,
because
it is.
boy, does this film say a lot and go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, I
that's
just
the
feel
point.
like things are going to end
So-
badly.
That's. By the way, that is 100% deliberate.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
I
This
know
is
it's
the-
deliberate, but
the
I
whole-
could
yeah.
deliberately shit on the floor. That doesn't make it any better.
no, that's
I'd
fair.
be like, look, I
but-
meant to do that. And you'd be
the
like, I
whole-
still have questions. I
Yeah,
still
no,
don't
you-
agree with what you've done.
Yeah. and
Please
this-
clean that up and let's move on and not talk about it.
No, I need to talk about this movie though.
I'm guessing one of the main reasons you want to talk about this is because of Tilda Swinton being
It
a
is Tilda
Scottish
Swinton.
Buddhist samurai. End bit redacted until spoilers.
Okay, part of why no one wanted to see this film is Tilda Swinton. Every other reason is the insane cast that is in it, and I feel like we start with Tilda Swinton, but it doesn't end with Tilda Swinton.
No,
The rest
This is
of
a
the
big cast. And I mean,
Oh,
one
it's
thing
an
that I did quite
insane
like
cast.
about this film was the fact that they have these big names, and they kill almost all of them immediately.
Yeah.
It's great.
they're-
I'm
So,
like,
best thing ever.
Selena Gomez dies off screen. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Selena Gomez.
I
by
at
the way,
least thought
the
when he
biggest name on the
decapitated
bill.
her, she would like at least her eyes would open or something.
I mean, the
but
head
no,
did. Yeah, the head did move when he walks out holding it.
Yeah,
You've got
that's right.
Iggy Pop as well as like the first proper zombie that you see,
Yeah.
and I
I
can't
like
remember
that,
who the
but
woman
he
is.
also
that's with
really
him.
doesn't look that different, does he?
No,
I
not
can't. I
really.
can't remember.
No, he
Like,
didn't have
looks
to
like Eddie
actually
Van
really
Halen.
do.
No,
Didn't have to do much prosthetics
that's
on
why
him.
you cast Iggy Pop.
But
Um,
it's so heavy-handed.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
it's
there's okay. That has reminded me. There's one point in this movie that I do get annoyed about, which is that we follow the story of these kids that are like in some sort of like detention center.
Yeah,
or
they're in a
something.
juvenile detention
Yeah.
system. They're naughty boys and girls.
That story does not have an end, and that's the
No.
like everything else. While it wraps up, badly, not badly, but
I was going to
Not
say,
well.
you're
Wrap
saying
up.
that that's the only. Are you saying that's the only thread that doesn't have a satisfying ending? Because
no, quite a
no,
few.
no, no.
of them
It's the only thread that doesn't have an ending.
Yeah.
Satisfying is
do.
irrelevant. The satisfaction level of the endings is irrelevant.
Now we're on to the Iggy Pop zombie bit. We can get into so Iggy Pop and another woman, I can't remember her name. They go in and they
She's-
kill the
Which-
the diner owner and the cleaner, and they just
I need to find out her name because her
yeah,
name's
I
important.
can't. Yeah, they're
She's-
definitely she's definitely
anyway,
important
they
as
really
well.
like coffee.
Yeah, they're getting coffee. They kill the two people. Anyway, so this leads to my favorite scene in the movie, which is when Danny Glover's outside and he's like, "What the hell was that? An animal? Several wild animals?" And then Bill Murray walks in to see, and he's like, "Wow." And then Adam Driver shows up, and he walks in, and he's like, "Ugh." And then he walks out, and he just says the exact same line, where he's like,
Yeah, it's
"What
amazing.
was that? An animal? Several wild animals?" And I'm like, great. And then the woman shows up and just the same line again.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's
So
more
how do-
payoff
are you-
later on when like the news reporter says the same thing.
Are you familiar with the rule of three?
Yes.
Yeah.
The rule of
You
three.
know it's not the rule of six.
Yeah.
No, it happens 3 times, and then there's a callback to it later. It's just so slow and deadpan, and the fact that that a third one is gonna be delivered in the same way just makes it better.
Yeah.
Does
Like,
it? Or does
Yes.
it make it predictable and boring?
No, that's the
No,
point.
that's the thing. It's
Like,
it's
as in
it's,
this
I get that it's making
satire,
a point. I
like,
just
it's-
fundamentally disagree with the point being like one worth making.
No, there is no point to be. That's the important point about this one. And I want to talk about the behind the scenes layer. I can talk about it. No, let's talk about the behind the scenes and like how this film was made. And I think that's important and
I want
differentiates
answers
it.
actually. I'm more curious as to why.
And the behind the scenes, like the why it was made and how it was made, differentiates it from the other shit film. I will defend this film to the death that it's better than the other film that everyone knows what I'm talking about. The other 1-star movie. The film that we do not talk about anymore. 'cause I don't want to give it any power.
Southland Tales That Must Not Be Named.
Yeah.
So the director.
For our new listeners,
Go back and don't listen to it.
don't watch the film. That's for sure.
Don't definitely watch the film.
Are you
So the
trying to say this
director-
is a 1-star film?
No, it's not.
No, exactly.
Um,
Right, let's continue.
So the director.
Honestly,
is-
I'd rather watch Southland Tales. I'm just going to put that out there.
Fuck you.
How dare you? You're fired.
No.
You've just bought your nice new microphone. Fuck off.
The director that made this film made it. He's never fully explained why he made this film, and it stands out because every other film he makes is like a high art film. Most of his films are like high art or meaningful or whatever.
So
Like-
you know he's a wanker from the start, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the point of all of his films are he doesn't make films for there to be stories. He makes films to develop
I could
characters.
have told you that for free.
But that's like what he does, and I think
Mm.
that's like a fair thing to do. He makes very slow-paced films, and I think the one that I love is the Only Lovers Left Alive, which is this big film that goes nowhere, but it's great because it's like just character driven, and that's why I love that he made this film because no one asked him to, no one forced him to. He was like, "I'm going to make a zombie movie." This guy has never touched horror before in his life went.
And
"I'm
that's
gonna
the
make a
weird
horror-
thing
I'm
because
gonna make a zombie movie.
there's no real horror bits in this. Like there's no like
This
jump
film
scares.
isn't
or
a
anything.
horror movie.
It's
It's
all-
it's a movie with zombies
zombie
in it.
movie.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so the best way that can describe it whilst watching it is it feels like a parody of zombie movies,
Yeah,
even though it isn't.
it's supposed to be a satire. Like it's listed as
But
satire on Netflix as well.
no,
In a
but
way,
it feels like it's meant to be, but it isn't.
it doesn't
Like,
quite go all the way. It doesn't stick to like the generic tropes and all that sort of thing like
Yeah.
you'd expect from a satire
But
zombie movie.
It does in like the most heavy-handed and blatant way, and there is no way that that's an accident, and that's
No.
why I love it.
And like all the thing is, all the actors are like, I say giving it their all, just the most. I want to see the behind the scenes and see if they were like cracking up and stuff. But
Yeah, the delivery is
like, just
Daniel Craig was meant to be in this film, and I'd have
oh
loved to have seen
fuck,
that.
that would have been amazing.
He turned it down, and I kind of get why. I think it was 007 that kind of took over from it, but
So I want to tell you guys a little story. I was in the school jazz band when
Yeah.
I was at school, when I was like
Was Daniel
12
Craig in
to
it?
Daniel Craig meant to be
18,
in your
or
jazz band.
16, whatever. There was this other guy. I won't name them.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
His name was Schmanuel Schmake.
Daniel Schmake. He played
Baines
saxophone.
John.
He grew up to play a character called Namd Mont.
So he would, as everyone was encouraged to do in jazz band, in the solos time, where everyone was just vamping, he would play a solo after someone else played a solo. Or whatever. We'd all take turns, just going through one verse and chorus of soloing on top of everyone else playing. It was a good experience. It was good, good improv stuff. None of us could tell if he was either really, really good or really, really bad, because it was jazz, and we were like, he's either doing this really deliberately, or he doesn't have a clue what he's doing,
Well,
but he's doing it quite confidently.
the
And I feel that resonates with this film
Yeah.
a lot.
the important thing about jazz is that it's about the notes that you don't play. So the best way to listen to jazz is not to.
But
Bit of a dig at all our jazz lovers.
So I think I get what the point you're trying to make is you can't tell if this is a good deliberate film or a bad film.
But I know
And-
that it wasn't much fun to watch.
It's not much. It's not. None of. I think his name's Jim
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 Jarmusch.
Jarmusch. Yeah.
Jarmusch?
Jarmusch.
Yeah.
None of his films are fun to watch. They're not
What a
meant to
better
be.
name.
Yeah. He can't pick it. But
Can.
none of,
Like, people in showbiz do that literally all the time.
directors don't tend to. But Jim
Names
Jarmusch
with weird names don't.
doesn't. None of his films are meant to be enjoyable to watch, and like he is talked about as like analytically when you talk about his films because they're not meant to be enjoyed; they're meant to be watched. Which is why I love that he made the most star-studded film
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he used none of them properly and killed everyone off. That's why I love this film. And like to say, oh, he did like it's bad because he did it all accidentally. Like Southland Tales is bad because it has the points and doesn't know how to make them.
Mhm.
This film is the opposite, where the director fully knows how to make the points he wants to make because he's made them 1,000 times before in
Yeah.
better films.
But it's like, but he's
He
made this choice to
chose
not
to.
make any of those points. Yeah.
And I live for that.
It's just all in the background where you get these characters just from some shitty little town in the middle of nowhere just dealing with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
it-
that's not interesting.
No, it's
Exactly. But it was great.
Entirely
Like-
the point. And it's why I get that it's a terrible, terrible film. But I have to be like fair. Like it's terrible in all of the right ways.
I mean, I've not studied film, but it's like, when you read a really depressing book and you're like, oh, but it's so interesting and it raises so many important questions, and I really want to, dive into what was going on in the author's psyche at the time and what led them to make this tragic masterpiece. And then this film, I just wanted to shut the screen down. There was so many. I mean, I ate so many snacks
Yeah.
during this film because I just wanted a break.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Like,
only
it
an hour
took
and
me
a half
2
long,
hours to
like,
watch.
Hour and
Yeah.
40 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I basically watched this with ad breaks.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
fair.
and I think
And Jim saw me roll my eyes multiple. He refused to watch this film again.
no, that's fair.
And
That's
he
100% fair.
was very bewildered, and I'm still crossed that we've had to watch this because this is not what I signed up for.
Tough.
And
we were forced to watch
we can discuss this film in 10 years' time, as
Yeah.
agreed by the premise.
No,
Maybe
but
you'll like it by then.
I just wanted to talk about the film.
Like when I first watched it, it was very much a kind because I watched it pretty much when it first came out, and I
Yeah.
was like, "This is weird, but I'm enjoying it." Like enjoying the weirdness of it. I knew that it wasn't going to be some because I watched the trailer for it. I think Mikey had shown me the trailer, and I was like, "This looks."
I was like, this is the
It's
most
just
batshit film.
a weird deadpan zombie movie that just looks weird. And I was like, I'm entertained by that. Like,
Yeah. I just
I think my issue is that it's saying that it's satire, but it's not funny enough to be a good satire,
Yeah.
and it's not dark enough to be a good Black Mirror. It just cannot make up its mind, like thematically, vibey, whatever you want to call it. Like it's just
It's-
off, and
it's
just
an anti-vibe movie.
yeah, it just is.
the film you put
it
on when you want
radiates-
people to go to sleep and or leave your party.
It radiates nothing, which all of his films do. All of his films radiate nothing.
It's kind of like it's a bit of a cock tease the entire film
Yeah.
as well. It's like, hey, you want some interesting characters? You want some big
Let's
names? You want an
happen.
interesting concept for a new
Fucking
kind of
yeah.
zombie that like mirrors what they used to do when they were young? Okay, cool. And that's all you're getting.
Yeah,
You blue
Yeah.
ball fuck. Off you go.
yeah.
That's not all you get. Tilda Swinton is an alien.
It's
Like,
an alien.
the where
Can we
she's
get-
like walking
can-
into the police station and she's just walking in the most perfectly straight lines.
Yeah.
Also, fucking amazing
just-
with a samurai sword, just like
It's just so
decapitating
tricky.
zombies all the time.
It's incredible.
Can we also talk about the fact that they dust instead of blood?
Yeah.
They're
like,
old. They're old. They're old
Yeah.
bodies. They're not like bit zombies. They're raised
Yeah,
from the
they
dead.
they climb out of the grave zombies, and that's why Bill Murray falls into a grave that one time when they're like, "Is it zombies?" Pff, yes.
Yeah. So I want to vaguely explain the plot. So yeah, we have because I just want to try and break down what happens in this film because somehow it feels like nothing happens, but everything happens. It's the opposite of Southland.
well, it feels like it's Act 1,
Yeah, it does. Southland Tales
Um,
feels
but I
weird,
really
actually.
it's Act 1 where I then don't go on to watch the rest of it.
Yeah. So the plot vaguely doesn't go anywhere because it's not meant to. Essentially, a small town overrun by raised from the dead zombies, which consist of, like we said, Iggy Pop
Yeah.
and
Oh fuck! I
What's his
forgot
name?
Tom Waits is just like
Carol
a
Kane.
hermit in the middle of the woods as
Yeah,
well.
some ways. So it's just all these people in the city, in this small town, dealing with the zombie invasion as it happens. And again, it's just a study of how different people deal with problems. So there isn't much to explain. Zombies attack, and they slowly work out that it's zombies. Apart from Adam Driver, who, as soon as the zombies happen, goes, "I think they're zombies."
Yeah, he knew
Well,
from the
yeah, but
start
he-
because
yeah,
he'd read the
because he's-
script.
Yeah.
He read the script.
Yeah.
Which is a solid line at the end. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a joke because it's
Is
not.
it solid or is it actually really flaky and weird and an odd choice?
Yeah.
It's a big fuck you to the audience. That's what it is.
It is.
It's a that suspension of belief that you had.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that.
Yeah.
This is a film. You dipshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm all for that. I think the reason why I'm all for that in this film is that style of filmmaking is always like kept like for like weird experimental movies. It's always like, oh, you can't do that in normal films with big stars because it's a waste of money.
No,
And
you can't
I
do
just-
that and expect people to like or enjoy them.
Yeah, because that's like that. But that's the point of experimental movies: is you watch them to watch them. You don't watch them to enjoy them. And loads of people will disagree with them. Be like, I watch them. No, you don't. You watch them to watch them. You don't actually enjoy watching experimental movies. No one does. Let's stop pretending. And I like that someone who is a predominantly like weird filmmaker went, I'm going to make a big budget movie and I'm going to throw in all of these weird experimental ideas and make it the least enjoyable blockbuster ever. Deliberately. And I feel like deliberately is important.
So was it actually a blockbuster?
No, it failed drastically and didn't have
Did
that
it?
big of a
Oh
budget
wow!
originally.
Oh, I'm so surprised. Colour me totally shocked and wow.
I mean, it's not surprising. But
No,
I
it's
don't think they
not.
expected it to do well. I imagine most of the budget went on getting the actors.
Yeah,
It
most
didn't go on
likely.
the story.
No, they didn't.
Because you've
I
got
like-
because you've got Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Tom Waits. What's the I can't remember the woman's
Selena
name.
Gomez.
Selena Gomez is in it. There's the other female police officer.
Chloe Sveng.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, Carol-
Steve
Carol Kane.
Buscemi, Danny Glover, and they're just
Yep.
they're just
Carol,
there.
they're just people.
Yeah.
Carol Kane, who is a like a really big Broadway star.
Yeah.
She's one of the zombie.
Yeah, she's pretty famous.
Yeah, she's like a huge Broadway star. Don't get why any of the people agreed to do this film in the best way, because they obviously looked at it and went, "This isn't going to make money."
Well, maybe because he put it in the script that they were going to say it was in the script, he didn't actually give them the script until they
dunno.
were like
Maybe
filming.
They
maybe they
did.
just thought it'd be fun to do. Like,
Yeah, it
you
seemed
know.
like a fun movie.
Maybe
Yeah.
they got paid up front.
I mean, I know like Tilda Swinton does a load of weird films, so that's not surprising.
I
Selena
mean,
I don't know
when
how-
you've done like some Marvel films, I feel like you can sort of pick and choose after that.
Yeah,
right?
like,
the
was
money's
picking-
coming in.
Let's not pretend she wasn't picking and choosing before the Marvel.
No, exactly.
movies. She's always done
Which
weird
I just
shit.
want to
Do
bring
you
up a
think it was
quick
her
point.
decision to have that terrible accent?
Probably.
She is Scottish.
Is
Yeah,
she?
she is
Yeah,
Scottish.
she's
yeah.
Scottish.
Yeah.
She's a
But why
Swinton.
did it sound like she was?
'Cause
Why
that-
did it sound like it was written by someone who? Well,
She
'Cause it-
probably was overdoing the Scottish.
Yeah, she is Scottish. The Swinton name is one of the oldest names in Scotland.
but it's not a good Scottish accent.
No,
No.
she can do a good Scottish accent.
well,
She
yeah, she
decided
can-
not to. Which
It's
again,
because she's not Scottish in the movie. She's an alien.
yeah, that's it. Which is the strangest, most bizarre, most nothing ending, and I'm all for it.
Are you? Because I'm not.
Yeah, you
It
can't
just-
tell.
Yeah, I was clock watching, and then the fucking the badly animated, generic as fuck looking spaceship that did nothing to progress the plot of any other characters.
No, it just takes Tilda Swinton away because she was an
Well,
alien.
at that point, every other character is dead.
Apart
Well,
from yeah,
I thought the whole point was that she was going to rush in and save the other two,
No,
or at least
'cause that's
kill
what
some
a-
zombies with them.
Because that's what a normal film would do. You're expecting this
Yeah,
film.
but I don't feel like I
See,
should congratulate a film for like surprising me in a bad way.
It doesn't want your congratulations. It just wants to exist.
Well, it doesn't deserve to.
That's fair.
Think of all the
I-
beautiful films that potentially got not funded or weren't able to complete because all the actors were busy doing this shit film. Like Tilda Swinton could have done the next like anything, and it could have been fantastic. And instead, she did this.
well, I think it
And
only
it's
took them
his
18
fault.
days to film this. So.
Yeah, like this was not a long film to
No.
make.
Yeah, that's still 18 days. She could have done something else. I think if you put all these actors together and told them to make something great, they could have done it. And instead, they
Yeah.
made this.
And they didn't, and that's great.
Yeah,
And I think
that's
that on
just kind
its
of funny.
is amazing. I love that. So they got Selena Gomez to do this film. I don't know how they got Selena Gomez to do this film. The
She
rest
was the
of them-
highlight of this film for me because she's the only one that's got like the acting where I kind of enjoy her speaking.
Because
Yeah.
she's the only one from the town
She
that's not
delivers-
from
yeah.
the town, so she has
Yeah.
personality.
Well, they deliver lines in a way that doesn't make you want to bash your own skull in.
The rest of the cast, like you can see how they would get each other involved. Like you
Yeah.
can see, oh, you got Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, like Adam Driver will jump on. Like Tilda Swinton and Adam Driver were making a film together before they did this. Steve Buscemi, once you've got like enough names, will jump on. Danny Glover, like sure. Tom Waits, sure. Iggy Pop, I'm sure if you ask him to be in anything, he'll be in it. Selena Gomez stands out so much, and she was so front and center for all of the marketing. Like her name was up there with Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Danny Glover, everyone's name. She is in the film for a total of about 6 minutes
Yeah.
before
I mean, it's
she
still
is,
the best 6 minutes of the film. There's only bits on.
but she's killed off screen 6 minutes into her being in the film.
Yep.
And I like that. I like that they got, because when this film came out, she was a big name. Not that she isn't a big name anymore, but she was like releasing stuff and like had music in the charts. No, we're gonna
She's done her share of like interesting films though.
Yeah, but normally that happens when there's like a dip and they're not making music. I think she was doing stuff when this came out.
Yeah, so she's really got no excuse.
No, and that's the best part. Yeah, it's just the story doesn't make any sense at all ever. You have the little vignettes of people, because that's what they are. They never really interact with each other. You have we're gonna get through this story the way the film tells us the story, which is scattered
Yep.
and random. You have Adam Driver and Bill Murray. You have
Danny Glover
teenagers.
Danny
Because
Glover
yeah.
owns the
owns-
hardware store, and there's the other kid who looks like not Macaulay Culkin, and
Yeah.
he runs the petrol station.
And then you have
and he's
the
got
guy
his weird
that-
nerd stuff.
yeah, you have him that runs like the comic book place.
Yeah.
Then you have Tilda Swinton, the Scottish
Undertaker.
samurai undertaker. Then you have Steve Buscemi, who plays a farmer who has all of his chickens stolen. Then you have the hermit, who is the only one that doesn't get.
Yeah, he's the only one that
killed.
survives.
Is that it, or is there more? Because there's the diner, which when they first see the zombie, a woman is screaming, "Get the fuck away from here! Or shove this mop up your ass."
Yeah,
I think
she's
that's
with the
great.
mop.
I like that the reaction is so aggressive from that one woman. But,
I
Well,
mean, I'd be as aggressive as possible too if like actual zombies were coming at me and I had a mop.
or just
Yeah.
Iggy Pop.
or just Iggy
Any
Pop.
rock star, really. It's
Yeah.
it's you have to protect yourself.
So you have all those vignettes, and and you have the people in the kids in the detention center. That never comes up again, and it's great.
No, they escape and run across a road, and then
They're
that's
like,
it.
"Oh, I know somewhere we can hide," and that's all you get.
They hide there. Well, yeah, you can't find them; they're hidden. And I think so to be able to like explain what all of those different characters do in their stories is completely irrelevant because they all die, which sounds like a complaint, and normally it would be. But I think it's great that they just say "fuck you" to
Yeah.
so many like rules for these types of films.
Yeah, but there are reasons that there are certain rules. Like
Yeah,
the way stories work and the way we like stories and the way we tell stories is that we have a setup and a payoff. And this film has a setup and it doesn't have any payoff. So
Yeah.
you're just left there unsatisfied. And I wouldn't even say curious, just disappointed.
This would have a completely different feel for me, and it might sound hypocritical. If it was made with bad actors and a lower budget, I think I wouldn't like it as much. I think I like it so much because these are all like Oscar-winning actors, some of them,
Yeah.
and they're good enough to make this. And like the director is good enough to make a good film. He's done it a lot. I like that he went no.
Yeah, I think I just struggle to respect someone who's deliberately made bad decisions like that.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I
think
feel
it's-
like I don't respect the film, and the film doesn't respect me either.
yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, and that's bad. I think you also went into it with no prior warning that that's what this film was like.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be not good, but I thought it was going to be not good in like
No, this is
in a less like
not good in a-
upfront way. It's like the film came in and spat on me.
Yeah, this film
Um,
hates you. If you're gonna watch it, this film
Like I'd fight
actively
this
hates
film in a
you.
bar
Yeah, this
after like
film-
2 drinks.
This film actively wants to fight. I like that they keep talking about the theme song.
Yeah.
It's the theme song.
Sturgill
I also-
Simpson. Yeah.
I also
everyone loves
love the line of like, oh, the conversation of what is this song? Why does it sound familiar? It's the theme song. What do you mean? And you go no further.
Yeah, it's just because then at the end as well, when Adam Driver's like, he's like, oh, why do you keep saying it's going to end badly? And Adam Driver's like, because I've read the script. And Bill Murray is like, wait, you got the whole script? Jim only gave me my scenes. What a dick!
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't find that funny. I just
Yeah.
thought that was weird and not
it
particularly.
was weird. It was just it's just weird. That's the only way I can describe it. But I don't know. I enjoyed the movie.
I think this film is designed to be divisive, but not in like a
And irritating.
Yeah, but not in like I kind of love how it's not divisive in like a political way.
Mm.
It's divisive in an enjoyment way.
Yeah.
There is no real politics to this.
I do
movie.
enjoy satire, and I do enjoy like it's not like I have some sort of moral or like standard that I'm like trying to hold this film up to and being like, oh, it falls short of that, thus it must be bad. Like,
This film is so hard to explain why it's bad. Like I completely understand watching it. First time I watched it, as soon as I finished it, I messaged Dan and I said, I don't know if I like this film or I hate it.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again and I was like, no, I enjoy this movie. I
Yeah.
genuinely enjoy this movie because part of me really hates it. Really hates it. So I get it. I get that it's awful. I can't bring myself to be like, this is
Yeah.
a bad film. 'cause-
I don't know. I enjoy like the deadpan comedy sort of stuff, like the just sort of the
I think it's
slow
so
burn,
generous
the
to call
weird,
it
like,
comedy because
genres
it's not a slow burn because burn implies that it's like
on
doing
fire.
something or
Oh no, this is
Yeah.
a slow wet. Like, This
Yeah.
is a slow damp. It doesn't
Yeah.
do anything or go anywhere.
this is the slow mold growing across the wall
yeah.
and then they knock the wall down but don't tell you why and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. It's a slow burn, but it's a slow burn to an explosion that lasts half a second.
Oh, it's like that time I was at a bonfire night and we had this like huge fucking rocket and we were like, that's the biggest one, we'll save it till last. And we lit it and it was like for about a minute straight and then it was just like
Yep.
and that
Well,
was it.
Do you know what this film has the feeling of? And I feel like this is a very only people that have experienced this specific thing will understand what I'm talking about. But it's like the Ramsgate New Year's.
Oh, that New Year, the
fireworks display.
2019 New Year firework display.
Every year they do it. It's so we went and like Helen, you were there, right, for that?
No, Helena wasn't. It was
Oh no.
us two, Jamie and Paige, and
We
Rev.
could have
Okay.
pretended.
Okay, Helena
but
was
it
there
happened-
too in spirit.
But it happens every year. So the town that we live around, I guess, because we don't all live.
The one that
um,
does the allegedly best fireworks.
Yeah, it does. So
It's not
there's
the best fireworks, but
No,
like
it's
they're down the road.
famously
The one
it's-
that does the nearest fireworks.
Yeah.
It's famously shit, and every year it's always it gets worse in levels of good. Like it gets more shit every year.
But
To
the
the point-
last time was the best though, because obviously
Oh,
it really
man.
summed up how 2020 was going to go. You can tell
Oh,
the
it
story
was-
if you.
Like my first tweet of the year was something like bad fireworks
Yeah.
display. Let's
So-
see how great start to the year.
Yeah. So
Turns out-
essentially, every year, every single year before this, they have lit the fireworks over the harbour. And so we'll stand and watch it over the harbour. Except this year, they decided to let them off on the beach, which is to the left and hidden behind some buildings.
Yeah, it is.
So you get the countdown, and as soon as it hits New Year, all you see is like the top of fireworks
Oh.
just off to the left. And we're like,
think
oh.
that
Is it hidden behind the giant spoons?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
because it
the
hidden
other
behind a
buildings
load
to
of
the left
buildings.
of
You
that,
can't
yeah.
see them
Yeah.
properly. Well, no, but what's also important about that is you do the whole like 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
7, 6, and the fireworks go off. We did that. There were a lot of people there as well,
Yeah.
which
It's
beginning of
never
2020
insane.
quite worrying. Well, it was number one. It was 3 or 4 minutes late, so you had you had everyone get to 0, and then there was an awkward silence, and everyone was kind of looking around at each other, and then you heard fireworks in the distance,
Yeah.
which is why I thought they were like someone else's fireworks.
No, they were the display. They just didn't tell anyone that's where they were doing them.
No. And so like there was just this it was that and that feeling of like there should be something big happening and nothing is happening and everyone is confused, and I feel like that's this film. Those displays every year
Yeah.
are amazing. I recommend everyone goes to them.
Yeah.
Because shit fireworks are infinitely better than
I've
good
been to
fireworks.
some. I've been
Exactly.
to some nice ones.
Yeah.
But they're not fun when they're good.
The
Fireworks-
best one was when I was a kid, and they actually had like the bouncing ones, and they bounced them across the water. And then I think they
Ooh,
realized
nice.
they
I
were
missed
like
that.
hella expensive, and they
Mhm.
didn't do it again.
See, I
Our
don't
council's broke, yo.
I don't enjoy big good fireworks. I think the best fireworks display is the one that goes wrong.
Yeah.
No matter how, I think it's good if it goes wrong.
I've always wanted, and like this trajectory will probably happen, is normally they let them all off sort of individually and you get the whole display. I really want one year they just all go off at once.
I'm pretty sure they
I
do.
would love to see that.
I've not seen it, but I've heard it because next to my parents' house used to be and now isn't. I think a wedding venue. It was a popular wedding venue for a while because it's like a nice big country house style thing. And people would occasionally have fireworks, which was great for us because if we leaned out the balcony, you could see them, and it was like a free fireworks display. Normally, sort of around wedding season, so like late summer, early autumn. And one year, we couldn't see the fireworks. All we heard was just like the
Bang.
loudest noises. The first bang, and then just
Oh,
it was just
man.
going off and off and off and off for like 20 seconds, and then nothing, and then they all set off on the ground.
Oh,
Yep.
no.
I'm pretty
So we didn't see any fireworks. All we saw was like the venue was kind of lit up for a bit, and then there was
Yeah.
silence. And you were like, I don't know how much that cost that
Hmm.
poor couple, but none
Yeah.
of them made it into the air.
They're
But
amazing.
that's a
That is
much better
amazing.
story than if it went right.
Yeah, it's like,
Like-
there was beautiful fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Or like you can have the story from a couple years ago at the New Year's fireworks display when it was just a laser light show.
Yeah, they didn't have
I-
fireworks, they just had some lasers in the sky
No,
and
I-
it was shit.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but lasers aren't exactly the easiest thing to see when there's nothing to bounce them off.
No.
Yeah,
So
don't they
imagine-
need smoke from the fireworks to.
There were no fireworks.
Or just clouds or something.
Just an open harbour with a few piddly lasers showing
Yeah.
about, and everyone going, "Is that it?"
Yeah, that
It was
was
incredible.
disappointing.
And then you have them every year. They play music from like 2 tiny speakers on a dock. Every year, it's like the vaguest, distant sound of pop music. I love it. I love
Yeah.
how bad it is.
So I guess going back to the movie,
No,
We
I-
don't have to.
out of 10, how many disappointing firework displays would you give this?
solid
We'll
8.
start. Okay, we'll start.
I'm going with it because
Yeah.
I want to. I'm feeling it's going to go downhill from me. I think like a solid 8 or 9, just disappointing ending. It's a solid 8 or 9 bad climax.
Yeah. All right. I'll give my score before Helena goes off. I am
Yeah,
going
'cause
to
I-
give this 8 wild animals out of 10.
8 wild animals.
Yeah.
Wow, it's 8 wild animals.
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna give
I just like the movie. I know it's not amazing. I know it's got a disappointing ending, but it's just there's just something about it that I like, and I can't help
Yeah,
that.
can't explain it either.
No.
There is no way to explain why this movie is good, or like you can explain why it's bad, but it feels worse than it feels. It
So-
makes you feel.
I'm going to end on one last metaphor. This has been a metaphor heavy episode because it's very difficult to just bluntly
Well, the
describe how
film-
bad this film is. You
well-
have to try and explain it just visually.
The film was devoid of metaphors, so let's go.
I feel like it's that bully kid who wants to control those around him, like says, "This is funny, laugh." And then if they laugh at something again later, he's like, "I didn't tell you to laugh at that. Don't laugh at that. That bit's not supposed to be funny." And they're only allowed to find something funny. And if you laugh at the wrong thing, you just don't get it and it's not right. And it just doesn't make up his mind. And I hated that she said Bonnie. I hated that she had really grubby feet at the start because that felt unnecessary. Tilda Swinton, that is. I thought at the start I knew what this film was trying to do.
It's not trying to do anything. That's where you
But
went wrong.
yeah, it's
That's where you went wrong. You assumed this film was trying, and it's not.
I'm gonna give this 1.5.
Good.
No.
Beat Southland Tales. That was the minimum of all I wanted.
But actually,
No, it's too late. We're ending the podcast now. If you want to listen to us, we're on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's HIT.
HILTM pod. That's why I do this
HILTM.
bit.
I thought someone would interrupt me. I was doing a bit.
I've been Dan.
Are we really ending? No, Helena, speak. I don't mean
no.
to.
it's half an hour before we see the first zombie in a
Yes.
slow fucking zombie movie that isn't about anything else. So why do we have to wait so long to see the not only the big names but the actual premise? I hated the hermit. He's not very nice. There's nothing likable about him. Doesn't serve anything. The literal only payoff is that we find out that he did eat the fucking chicken. That's not enough of a payoff. That is not worth like mine. I value my time so
I
much
forgot
more
about that.
than Jarush or whatever the fuck his name is. And I'm not gonna watch this film again ever. And if it's on TV, I will write to that channel and tell them that I'm boycotting them.
Fair.
1.5 stars.
That's
I've
all
been
correct.
Helena.
That's all correct. Still got better score than Southland Tales.
Yeah, but like the live stream of my grand's funeral probably has more like yeah, I'd probably rate that higher.
I have been Michael.
I've been Dan.
I've been angry. I mean, I've been Helena.
Yeah. What Mikey said earlier, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod.
We also
Will
have a
I?
Discord. You can join us on.
Strictly no dead don't die discussion.
100%. I'm going to create a separate.
There's
Discord
Yeah,
a
for
do
dead,
it.
a
It's a
dead don't die
separate channel.
section. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the dead don't die. Maybe don't let Helena know.
Like both ways. You're
Yeah.
correct.
I'm done talking about this film.
Did you hear that? It's the theme song.